Rainbow Six Siege is quickly approaching its 10-year anniversary, and there's been speculation in the community over a Siege 2 potentially being in the works, with a few leaks coming out and stuff like that. So I thought I would take a moment to kind of list out my Siege 2 wish list. Things I want Ubisoft to incorporate into Siege 2 and things that I just want from a second Rainbow Six Siege game, or a Rainbow Six Siege reboot. Starting off with the big and obvious ones, we obviously have a better anti-cheat. The game is so old now and it's been running on the same anti-cheat that there is just way too easy of a workaround to it. On PC right now, we are in one of the worst eras when it comes to cheating in Rainbow Six Siege, especially in higher ranks. You see cheaters pretty much every lobby, and you see all the content creators and high ranked players complaining about it. It's got to a point where there's big content creators who are actually making their own 10-man servers, which will allow people to join and basically host custom games instead of playing actual ranks. You know the problem is bad when the content creators and the community take it upon themselves to make a workaround, and Ubisoft have just been way too slow to act upon it. Now, I have no idea what anti-cheat they should be using. I'm not a real expert on which anti-cheat is good, which ones are very invasive on your PC and stuff like that, but we just don't want cheaters in Siege anymore. I feel like the next big thing for me, which I don't think would be an issue if Siege 2 was to become a thing, but it is a distinct lack of content. We need more content if they release a Rainbow Six Siege 2. Now, I don't know if this is going to be in the form of new weapons. That would be very interesting. It means that even if you are adding one operator a season, it actually makes them feel a little bit more unique. When we've been waiting literal months between seasons and basically don't get any content in those few months, when a new operator comes into the game and they just have all the same weapons and all the same stuff as other operators already in the game, the only real interesting thing is the player model and then the gadget. And other than that, that is literally all that we've got in that time span. Now, moving on into less important things, but things that I would definitely love to see. I kind of mentioned it briefly there, but weapons I feel like are a big thing with new content and new operators for the game, even if it's just like reskinned versions of weapons. For example, if you take a weapon pre-existing in Siege and just give it the same stats and literally just change the model and the recoil pattern, I'm sure people will be fine with that. I would be fine with that as long as it looks and feels different and probably hopefully sounds different. I don't think a lot of people would have a problem with that, even if it had the same stats as other weapons. Another thing that I've noticed has gone downhill over the last few years in Rainbow Six Siege is the events that we no longer get. When Siege first came out and when they first started introducing events into the game, every single event was brand new. It was a fresh idea. It had fully brand new cosmetics. And then all of a sudden, in recent years, we're just getting reused events. I made a dedicated video talking about this and how I am really upset at the state of events that we get now. It's only gotten worse since then. In fact, the last event that we actually got, it was actually the same event with the same skins, but this time they didn't even add any new skins to the collection. In fact, all they did is add the same skins again, but with a different color. I don't know about you guys, but that seems extremely lazy. There's also some events that we haven't seen for a long time. For example, Grand Larceny. It's only appeared once, and I don't know why Ubisoft haven't brought it back yet. And then we've got events like Doctor's Curse, which I'm assuming we'll be getting for a 5th time this year, with Halloween just around the corner. Now, enough of things that we have a lack of and things that I would like to see. One thing that I think needs to stay the same if we did get a Siege 2 was all the operators that are currently in the game. If you make Siege 2 and you are removing operators from the list and you're adding new ones that kind of do the same role, I think the community will be very upset. I think it will drive away a lot of the dedicated hardcore fan base. And another thing that definitely needs to carry over is some of the maps. Don't get me wrong, if you want to remove or tweak some of them, that's fine, but the majority of the maps in Siege definitely need to stay. You just need to add upon it. And then finally, the last thing is definitely all of the skins, uniforms, headgears and stuff that we've been collecting over this decade of Rainbow Six Siege. If they reboot the game and it doesn't have the same operators, doesn't have the skins and stuff we've been collecting, it would definitely be a massive L, and I don't think I could actually play Rainbow Six Siege after that. That would probably be my final straw, and that would probably stop me from playing the game entirely. Now, to end off the video, I just want to give a few shout outs to Ubisoft, because there are a few things that they have done really, really well. First and foremost, I do think all of the operators that they've added to the game are really cool. They're really individual, they're really designed well, and they're all pretty goddamn unique. I know for a fact that Ubisoft have kind of drifted away from the realism side of Siege, but when you think about it, there's only so much you can do while keeping it realistic, and I think Ubisoft did all they could before they started drifting away from that and added operators like Ayana, who can do clones. The most recent operator is going to be in a wheelchair and control robots, which isn't unrealistic, but you know, I don't see how a team of specialized operatives from around the world is employing someone from a wheelchair to control a robot. I mean, I just don't see how that's happening. Another thing that I think Ubisoft have really done well over the last few years specifically is the story and the storyline that we currently have, the Deimos arc, and I think Deimos has just been playing a role this whole time, and I do think there are people above him and there is a bigger threat to Siege, like he's been alluding to this whole time. But other than that, for the most part, even though Siege is in a pretty bad spot right now, I do have an underlying love for the game. If there's anything that you guys think Ubisoft need to add, keep, or take away for a Siege 2, then let me know down in the comments. And if there's enough things that I missed out in this video, I could potentially make a second one. So if you want to see that, let me know down in the comments.